Hello class, welcome to week 2 of AES 6400. This is the introductory video for second week. We're going to recap a little bit first week, get into what the expectations are for week 2. So real quick on my list here, thank you for those of you who posted in the introductions. It's great to meet most of you. One of us did not post. So still a chance to get in there and tell us about you, so we can learn a little bit about you and who we're interacting with. This was not a graded assignment, but the interaction is very important when it comes to online learning experience, and so we do want to know who our peers are and a little bit about each other, so that when maybe we can create some correlation between the posting, the work assignments, and what that person's maybe specific area of interest is or what they're doing. So that's why we really like to get the introductions there. Good job on the discussion questions. One thing I will say, with the peer-to-peer interaction, we do ask that you do reply to 2 of your peers by the end of the week on Sunday, day 7 Sunday. We really want these to be forward-moving interactions. So when somebody replies to a discussion question, no two people reply the same to each discussion question, and even though we're answering the same questions, the replies might not be the same. So this is really supposed to be conversational. This is your chance to speak to your peers informally, using technology, and grow the conversation, because we are all talking about the same 2 or 3 questions in discussion. Even though what we say in them may not be exactly the same, we might have situations where someone's referring to shoulder, and the other person might be referring to shoulder, and maybe they didn't come to the same conclusion, but good interaction might come of that, and it's a great learning experience for the entire class for us all to read it. So very important that you do interact with your peers. We're not asking for you to challenge each other. It's great. We really want you to say something like, great job. Didn't realize that was out there. I did something very similar in my research for this particular question, and I came up with a different answer. What are your thoughts on my answer, or have you considered this? It's really just to kind of expand. It's a discussion, so we treat the writing in these conversationally. Grades are done. So I went through pretty quick this week. Made sure all of your assignments were graded, discussions were graded. Pretty good, I would say pretty good. In the written assignments, anything that's referencing an APA style format, we want these type of writing assignments to be a little less conversational, a little bit more formal. Prior to this week, there was no access to the cover sheet that you may have seen in some of your other courses. I've made that available, so just as a reminder, really, that these are a little bit more formal assignments, and that we do really want these to be a sample of your writing and your understanding and interpretation of what these assignments are about. This particular week, I was really curious to see how the students' role, their current role, and maybe their future role would have something to do with our assignment, not just necessarily the fitness professional, but each individual. So some of you were great with that. Others, I think, maybe misunderstood it a little bit and thought that maybe it was just as a fitness professional in general and not necessarily you and your role. That's okay. No points taken away, as maybe we weren't as specific on that as we wanted to be. As far as these videos, I do want to say, I know I may have mentioned before that I wanted to issue these on Sundays. However, sometimes I like to see what you've turned in for your assignments, so I have a little bit more talking points, so I can maybe address some things from the previous week before we move on to the next week. So these videos you might see come out somewhere between Sunday and maybe even as late as Wednesday if it's a thick grading assignment for me. I really want to make sure I take the time to go through and read what you've written and put as much into it as you did. So on those heavy weeks, the video might be a little later in the week. Just want to let you know it's Tuesday today, so if you're waiting for this on Sunday, well, that's why I wanted to make sure I was able to read all of your work. But that being said, grades are done. And here we are. So week two is a heavy flexibility component week. A lot of what you're going to be going in and reading is going to be learning about the different types of flexibility, the rationale behind flexibility, a lot of key terms associated with flexibility. Your discussion this particular week is a research question on the acute effects of stretching. And I'm going to leave it right there because I want to see what your interpretation of this is. And then an extension of this week's discussion is this week's assignment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to email each of you a specific stretch and a specific kind of stretch for that particular whatever muscle group maybe that I assign. So you'll see that. I'm going to send that out today in the next maybe 10 minutes or so. And I'm reading the assignment now, and just to eliminate any confusion, there may be some questions about performing 1 or 2 example exercises along with the stretch. That just means we're not looking for, if you're assigned static stretch for the gastroc, to show or post a video of you or someone else doing static stretch for gastroc and then talk to us about how to do a plank and something else. We're not asking you to display exercises outside of the stretch. We're just saying there may be more than one way to stretch this particular group, and so we're looking for 1 or 2 example stretches for whichever group that I assign to you, which you'll receive today. So that being said, pretty good first week. I'm intrigued. I think the work that you've done has been pretty good. Keep in mind on these assignments, maybe not so much this one because we're looking a little bit more for a video, and there's a small written portion to this as well. But on the more APA style written assignments, we are looking for graduate level written assignment, not conversational, not like this is now. I make these videos because I want you to know there's a person on the other end who's taking the time and doing work with you and watching and reading your information, and I want to be here as part of the journey with you. And this I want to be conversational. However, when you do a written assignment, I do want the written assignment to represent your best professional work, and not only showing me that you're a good writer, but that you can interpret the information beyond just the heavy science. Because remember, as much as we need to be able to speak to other scientists, we also need to be able to speak to our clients who are most likely not scientists. So to be able to take a complex component or a complex concept and then be able to explain it relatively simply, that's really where the success of this yields helping somebody else outside of our industry. Being able to have a conversation with another trainer is going to be great if your job is to train trainers, if you're a fitness manager or a general manager, or you own a studio and you're responsible for other people training. You want to be able to have these conversations that way. But when it comes to you really helping another individual not in the fitness industry, your client, we need to be able to speak to them and be able to transfer this information, which might be complex, over to something that's usable as well. So maybe we can see a little bit of that this week with some of your videos. If you are making videos for your stretch technique, maybe we can hear some layman in there as well. So as if the client was being taught how to do the stretch, I think that would be great. So that being said, on to week 2. A little less lighter on the quizzes this week. Only 1 quiz. Written assignment due by day 5. Respond to your peers by day 7. And then assignment due Sunday, and I'll be looking forward to those. If you have any questions, please feel free, email me. If we need more than just an email communication, of course, remember, I'm available to do by appointment Google Hangouts as well. So that is all. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the course.